The sky above the planet Varkos was a storm of fire and smoke. Starships streaked across the dark clouds, leaving trails of blue and red energy. Explosions shook the ground, and the cries of soldiers, both human and alien, echoed across the battlefield. Captain Nathan Rourke's heart pounded in his chest as he ran through the ruins of a once great alien city. The ground trembled with every distant explosion, and shards of metal rained from the sky. Nathan had been trained for battles like this, but nothing could have prepared him for the chaos of war on Varkos. Alien soldiers, taller than humans and armored with strange reflective shields, advanced relentlessly. Plasma bolts hissed through the air, vaporizing the debris around him. Nathan ducked behind a broken wall, breathing heavily. Through the smoke, he saw a small figure struggling in the rubble. The figure moved strangely, limping as it crawled over shattered walls. Nathan squinted. "Impossible," he muttered. The child was alien, slender with violet skin and glowing amber eyes. His small body was covered in cuts and burns. Nathan's instincts took over. He leaped over debris, ignoring the plasma fire that streaked past him. Every step was a risk. Every second counted. If he didn't reach the child soon, he might never get another chance. The battlefield around them was terrifying. Giant alien war machines stomped across the ruined city, their metal legs shaking the ground. Human soldiers were fighting bravely, but the alien forces were stronger, faster, and seemingly endless. Nathan knew he couldn't save everyone, but he could save this one. He reached the child and knelt down. "It's okay. I've got you," he said, lifting the small body carefully. The child groaned and clutched Nathan's arm weakly. Nathan's heart tightened. This little alien, barely old enough to speak clearly, had survived an impossible situation. Nathan looked around, scanning for threats. An alien patrol was moving closer, their weapons glowing. He couldn't stay here. He needed to move, and fast. Holding the child close, he ran through the debris, dodging blasts and leaping over fallen structures. Every movement was dangerous, but Nathan didn't hesitate. His training, his experience, and his determination drove him forward. The child whispered something, his voice weak and trembling. "Mama?" Nathan felt a pang of sympathy. He understood fear and loss, even across species. "We'll get you back," he said firmly. "I promise." The patrol was getting closer. Nathan spotted a narrow alley leading to a collapsed building. He ducked inside, hoping to hide until the patrol passed. The child leaned against him, shivering. Nathan could feel the warmth of his tiny body, fragile but alive. For a moment, the world outside faded. Nathan focused on the child's safety, his mind clear. He thought of his own family back on Earth, of the people he had sworn to protect. This child didn't know him, but Nathan's humanity, his courage, his compassion drove him forward. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. A massive explosion erupted nearby, sending flames and debris into the sky. Nathan shielded the child with his body, feeling the heat on his back. The building creaked and cracked. He had to move again. There was no time to waste. He sprinted through the rubble, following his instincts. Every corner could hold danger. Every shadow could hide an enemy. But Nathan didn't stop. He thought only of one thing: keep the child safe. Hours seemed to pass as Nathan navigated the battlefield. The child's small hand clutched his armor, trusting him completely. Nathan spoke softly, trying to comfort him. "Almost there. Stay with me, kid. You're strong. You can do this." The city was in ruins. Towers had collapsed, streets were cracked and torn, and fires burned endlessly. Yet Nathan moved with purpose, weaving through chaos, dodging alien patrols and avoiding collapsing structures. The child's eyes were wide with fear but also curiosity. He had never seen a human up close. He seemed to sense Nathan's bravery and determination. Finally, Nathan spotted a damaged shuttle near the edge of the city. It was partially hidden behind debris but still functional. If he could reach it, they could escape the battlefield. He ran, ignoring the cuts and bruises forming on his arms and legs. The alien patrols were close, but Nathan's focus was sharper than ever. A patrol drone flew overhead, scanning for life signs. Nathan froze, thinking quickly. He pressed the child against a broken wall, holding his breath. The drone hovered for a moment, its sensors glowing, then moved on. Nathan exhaled quietly, his heart racing. He reached the shuttle and pried the door open. The child was too weak to climb in on his own. Nathan lifted him carefully and set him inside. Sparks flew from the damaged control panel. Nathan examined the shuttle quickly, his hands moving with trained precision. He managed to start the engines and the shuttle hummed to life. As they lifted off the planet, Nathan looked down at the battlefield one last time. Fire still burned. Explosions still rocked the ruined city. But for now, the child was safe. Nathan held him close, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. The child stirred and looked at Nathan with wide, amber eyes. He whispered again, "Mama?" Nathan shook his head gently. "Your mama will see you again," he said. "I'll make sure of it." He didn't know how the Queen, the child's mother, would react when she saw him. He didn't know if the aliens would forgive a human for saving one of their own. But Nathan didn't care. Right now, the only thing that mattered was keeping the child alive. The shuttle moved through the smoke-filled sky, leaving the battlefield behind. Nathan glanced at the child, noticing the faint glow in his eyes. Despite the injuries, despite the fear, the child was alive, and that was what mattered most. Nathan thought of what humans had always believed, that courage and compassion could change the world. And as he looked at the small alien in his arms, he realized that even in a galaxy torn apart by war, humanity could make a difference. The shuttle flew past burning cities and shattered landscapes, moving toward the distant human outposts where they could find refuge. Nathan knew this was only the beginning. The war was not over and the risks were far from gone. But for this moment he had saved a life. And sometimes that was enough. As the stars stretched out before them, Nathan whispered softly, "We're going to make it, kid. I promise." The child clutched his hand weakly but didn't speak. Nathan smiled faintly, feeling a strange sense of hope. In the middle of destruction, he had found a reason to fight not just for survival, but for something greater. The war would rage on. The galaxy would remain dangerous. But Nathan Rourke, human soldier, had done what many thought impossible. He had saved a life, and in doing so had begun a story that could change everything. For the first time since the battle began, Nathan allowed himself to believe that hope, fragile, small, and bright, still existed. And as he guided the shuttle toward safety, he vowed silently to protect this child at all costs, no matter what dangers lay ahead. The shuttle hummed steadily as it moved away from the war-torn planet. Outside, the stars stretched like silver threads across the blackness of space. Nathan Rourke sat in the pilot's seat, his hands gripping the controls tightly. Beside him, the alien child, Prince Kale, rested against a padded wall, his small frame still trembling from injuries. Nathan glanced at him, noting the faint shimmer of light in Kale's amber eyes. The child stirred and whispered, "Where are we going?" Nathan offered a reassuring smile. "Somewhere safe, away from all the fighting. You'll be okay." Kale looked at Nathan with a mixture of fear and curiosity. His gaze wandered over the cabin, taking in the strange buttons, screens, and blinking lights. Despite his injuries, his eyes shone with intelligence. Nathan had rescued him from impossible odds, and now the responsibility of keeping him alive rested entirely on his shoulders. The shuttle passed through asteroid fields, navigating carefully to avoid collisions. Nathan's mind raced with plans. Hiding a royal alien child in human territory was risky. Some humans would question his actions. Some aliens might come looking for Kale. But Nathan had made his choice. He could not leave the child to die, not after surviving the battlefield. Hours passed. Nathan occasionally checked Kyle's injuries, which were mostly minor but included burns and cuts from falling debris. The child's breathing was uneven at first but slowly steadied as the adrenaline faded. Nathan reached into his kit, offering water in a small cup. Kale took it cautiously, his tiny hands trembling. "Water, cold," he murmured. Nathan nodded. "Cold but safe. You need it." Kyle's lips curved into a faint smile, the first Nathan had seen. That small gesture strengthened Nathan's resolve. No matter what challenges lay ahead, he would see this mission through. The child's life was too precious to risk. As they traveled deeper into space, Nathan began speaking to Kale softly. "I'm Nathan. I'm human. I saved you today and I'll get you somewhere safe." Kyle's voice was weak, but he responded, "Nathan?" "Yes, that's my name," Nathan said, smiling faintly. "What's yours?" "Kyle," the child whispered. Nathan repeated the name, committing it to memory. "Kyle, you're brave, Kale. Very brave." The child's small hand reached for Nathan's, gripping it lightly. Nathan felt a surprising warmth. Despite the differences between their species, a connection was forming. Born of trust, shared danger, and the instinct to survive. Nathan knew they could not stay in open space. Enemy patrols and scouts could appear at any moment. He needed to find a safe location, somewhere they could rest and plan their next steps. Consulting his navigation system, he calculated a course to a remote human outpost on the edge of the solar sector, a place few enemies would expect to find them. The shuttle shuddered suddenly. Nathan tensed, eyes darting to the radar. An alien scout ship appeared, small but fast, closing in rapidly. The child looked frightened, pressing closer to Nathan. Nathan's hands moved quickly over the controls. "Hang on, Kale, this might get a little bumpy." The scout ship fired a warning shot, a streak of energy that narrowly missed the shuttle. Nathan activated the shuttle's shields, the energy barrier shimmering around them. With practiced precision, he performed evasive maneuvers, diving through an asteroid belt. The scout ship followed, but Nathan knew the terrain better. Using the twisting paths of asteroids, he outmaneuvered the alien ship, which finally broke off the pursuit. Kale's eyes widened. "Fast, like birds," he whispered. Nathan chuckled softly. "Like birds, yeah. But these birds shoot lasers." The child laughed quietly, a sound Nathan realized was rare for someone so young and so recently terrified. That small moment of joy reminded him why he was doing this. Kale was more than a symbol of alien royalty. He was a life, a child who deserved hope and safety. They traveled in silence for a few hours, the shuttle gliding smoothly through the vast emptiness of space. Nathan kept glancing at Kyle, noting the child's growing curiosity. Kale reached for a small console, pressing buttons tentatively. Lights flashed and a soft hum filled the cabin. Nathan laughed lightly. "Careful, Kale. Those buttons do more than make pretty lights. They help me fly this shuttle." Kyle tilted his head, fascinated.
"Fly shuttle?"
"Yes, fly," Nathan said. "I can take us anywhere in space, but first we need to find somewhere safe." As they approached the remote outpost, Nathan noticed something unusual. A small meteor storm had formed, moving unpredictably through the sector. The shuttle would have to navigate carefully. Nathan adjusted the controls, weaving between the meteors, each one glowing as it passed close by. Kale held onto the console rail tightly, his small knuckles white. "You're very good," Kale said quietly. Nathan smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "I've had practice, Kale, and sometimes you just have to keep moving forward no matter what." The shuttle finally emerged from the meteor storm, the outpost visible in the distance, a tiny cluster of domes and antennas on a barren moon. Nathan set a course and began the landing sequence, guiding the shuttle down carefully. The shuttle landed with a soft thud, and Nathan powered it down. He unstrapped himself and lifted Kale carefully. The child's legs were too weak to walk on their own, so Nathan carried him inside the outpost. Inside, the outpost was quiet but functional. Humans were working on machines, studying data, and monitoring communications. Nathan nodded to a medic, explaining quickly. "Child injured. Needs help. Keep him safe." The medic's eyes widened. "A child alien?" "Yes, but he's important." "Keep him alive," Nathan said firmly. The medic nodded, taking Kale to a medical bay. Nathan watched as they worked quickly to clean his wounds, apply healing ointments, and monitor his vitals. The child was exhausted, but Nathan could see the faint sparkle of intelligence and awareness returning to his eyes. Nathan stepped back, letting the medic work. He had a moment to breathe. He moved to a console and began scanning communications, checking for any signs that enemy forces were searching for them. So far, no alerts. They were still safe for now. After a while, Kale's eyes opened again. He looked around the room, then at Nathan. "Safe?" he asked. "Yes, Kale, you're safe," Nathan said. "For now. But we'll need to plan what comes next." "The Queen. Your mother? She must know you're alive." Kale's eyes widened at the mention of the Queen. "Mama," he whispered. His small voice was filled with hope and fear at the same time. Nathan knelt beside him. "Yes, your mother. She's alive, and I promise one day you'll be back with her. But first you need to heal. You're too important to risk anything now." The child nodded faintly, closing his eyes as he rested against Nathan's shoulder. Nathan could feel the warmth of Kale's trust. Despite the differences between human and alien, they had formed a bond stronger than many friendships he had known. Hours passed. Nathan stayed close, watching over Kale as the medic monitored him. He thought of the war, of the dangers still lurking in space and of the path ahead. It would not be easy. Returning a royal alien child to his mother could provoke the Queen, could trigger political conflict, and could place both humans and Kale in danger. But Nathan did not hesitate. He knew humans had something special, the courage to act even when the odds were impossible, the empathy to protect life beyond one's own species, and the ingenuity to find a way when no path seemed possible. That was why he had survived the battlefield and why he would see this mission through. Kale stirred again, looking up at Nathan. "You help me?" he asked softly. Nathan smiled. "Always, Kale, always." As night fell on the outpost, Nathan gazed out at the stars. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of conflict. But in this small corner of space, he had created a moment of hope. A human soldier had saved an alien prince, proving that courage and compassion could shine even in the darkest times. Nathan knew the journey ahead would be difficult. They would face enemy patrols, political obstacles, and unknown dangers. But as long as Kale was alive, there was hope, and Nathan would protect that hope with every ounce of strength he had. For the first time in a long while, Nathan allowed himself a small smile. They had survived the impossible once, and together he and Kale would face whatever challenges came next. The journey back had only just begun. The small human outpost sat quietly under the pale light of a distant sun. The air inside the dome structures was warm and clean, a stark contrast to the battlefield Nathan had just left behind. Outside, the barren moon stretched in all directions, its gray surface dotted with craters and rocky ridges. Here, for the first time since the war began, Nathan felt a flicker of safety. Kyle lay on a medical bed, resting after the long journey. His amber eyes were closed, and small monitors tracked his vital signs. The medic worked quietly, applying bandages and healing salves to the child's injuries. Nathan stood nearby, watching closely, unwilling to leave Kale's side. Every now and then he adjusted a blanket or offered water, keeping the child comfortable. Nathan knew that even in this relative safety, danger was never far away. The alien empire was vast, and word of a missing royal child could spread quickly. Nathan had to remain vigilant, but for now, Kale needed care, and the child's trust needed time to grow. Hours passed, and Kale began to stir. His eyes opened slowly, revealing the same faint glow Nathan had seen on the battlefield. The child looked around the room, confused by the unfamiliar surroundings. Nathan knelt beside the bed. "You're safe, Kale," he said softly. "No one can hurt you here." Kale blinked, processing Nathan's words. "Safe?" he asked, his voice small but clear. "Yes," Nathan confirmed. "For now you're safe. That's what matters most." Kale's gaze shifted, curiosity breaking through the fear in his eyes. He reached for Nathan's hand, gripping it lightly. Nathan felt warmth spread through him. In that moment, he realized that Kale was more than a child who needed protection. He was beginning to understand, to trust, and even to hope. The medic gave Nathan a nod. "He's stable," she said quietly. "The burns are healing and the cuts aren't deep. He'll recover quickly if we keep him calm and fed." Nathan nodded, relief washing over him. "Thank you. I'll make sure he stays calm." Once Kale was settled, Nathan stepped out of the medbay and walked to the control center. The outpost was modest but well equipped. Monitors tracked nearby space traffic, communications, and planetary signals. Nathan scanned the reports carefully. So far, no signs of alien patrols searching for Kale. It was a small comfort, but it gave him a moment to breathe and plan the next steps. Nathan knew that hiding Kale was only temporary. Eventually, the child would have to return to his mother, the alien queen. But the journey would be dangerous, and they would need allies, resources, and a careful plan. Until then, Nathan focused on keeping Kale safe and helping him heal. Over the next few days, Kale began to recover. His energy returned slowly and his curiosity grew. He explored the small quarters of the outpost, touching consoles, pressing buttons, and asking questions in his soft musical language. Nathan taught him a few human words, and Kale repeated them eagerly, fascinated by the new sounds. "You're learning fast," Nathan said with a smile. "Humans are tricky, but we can teach a lot if you listen carefully." Kale's eyes lit up. "Fast, learn." "Yes?" he asked. "Yes, fast," Nathan confirmed. "And clever, too." "You're clever, Kale." The child's curiosity was not just for play. Nathan noticed that Kale had an unusual ability to understand systems quickly. He seemed to grasp how machines worked, how data moved, and how even small patterns could be used to solve problems. Nathan was impressed, realizing that Kale's intelligence might help them survive the journey ahead. One evening, Nathan and Kale sat by a small observation window, looking out at the stars. The moon's surface glowed faintly, and distant planets shimmered in the black sky. Kale leaned against Nathan, his small hands resting on the human's arm. "Stars, many," Kale whispered. "Yes," Nathan replied, "and someday we'll travel among them together." Kale tilted his head, intrigued. "Travel?" Nathan smiled. "See other worlds, learn about them, meet new people. But first we have to get you back to your mother safely." Kale's eyes widened at the mention of the Queen. "Mama." "Wait." "Yes," Nathan said softly. "One day you'll see her again. I promise." The child seemed to think deeply, then nodded slowly. Nathan could sense his hope growing, fragile but real. That hope, Nathan realized, was just as important as any medical treatment. Days turned into a week. Nathan and Kale's bond strengthened. Nathan taught Kale simple human phrases, showed him how the shuttle worked, and even let him press certain buttons under careful supervision. Kale learned quickly, his amber eyes absorbing every detail with sharp intelligence. Nathan was amazed at how much the child could understand despite the language barrier and his young age. During one quiet moment, Kale asked, "Humans, brave?" Nathan chuckled softly. "Some of us try to be. We're not perfect, but we do what we can when it matters." Kale studied him carefully. "You brave?" Nathan paused, thinking. "I try to be," he admitted. "Sometimes brave is just doing the right thing, even if it's scary." The child considered this, then nodded slowly as if understanding something very important. Nathan realized that Kale was learning not just about humans, but about values, courage, and the idea that even small actions could make a difference. However, their safety was temporary. Nathan knew that the alien empire would not forget a missing royal child. Spies, scouts, and intelligence networks would eventually search for Kale. Nathan needed a plan, not just for escape, but for the larger goal, returning Kale to his mother, the alien queen. Nathan spent hours studying maps, communications logs, and star charts. He calculated possible routes, escape points, and safe zones. The journey would be long, filled with danger, but Nathan's mind worked steadily. He would not fail. Not for Kale, not for the hope that had begun to shine so brightly in the child's eyes. One night, as the outpost slept, Nathan entered the med bay. Kale was awake, staring out the window at the stars. The child turned to Nathan. "Future?" Kale asked softly. "Yes," Nathan replied. "We'll plan. We'll prepare. And when the time is right, we'll start the journey to your mother." Kale's small hand reached for Nathan's. "Together?" he whispered. Nathan squeezed it gently. "Together, Kale. Always together." In the following days, Nathan taught Kale survival skills for space travel. They practiced emergency drills in the shuttle, learned how to navigate simple asteroid fields, and tested life support systems. Nathan was patient, explaining each step carefully. Kale absorbed every detail, proving to be exceptionally fast and capable. Nathan marveled at the child's intelligence and resilience. Despite the training, Nathan never let Kale forget the human qualities that mattered most: courage, empathy, and the importance of helping others. He told stories of human soldiers who had risked everything to save lives, even on faraway planets. Kale listened intently, wide-eyed, absorbing lessons about bravery and selflessness. One day, the medic approached Nathan quietly. "We've confirmed that Kale's injuries are almost fully healed," she said. "He's strong enough for travel. But be careful. The child is still young and the enemy could be tracking him." Nathan nodded. "I know, and we'll be ready." As night fell again, Nathan and Kale sat in the shuttle's cockpit. The stars stretched endlessly outside, a reminder of the vast universe around them. Nathan felt a mixture of hope and anxiety. The journey ahead would be dangerous, but he knew one thing with certainty. Humans had a strength that could never be measured by size, speed, or firepower alone. Compassion, courage, and ingenuity were powerful in their own way, and Nathan intended to prove that, for Kale's sake and for the future of both species. Kale rested his head against Nathan's arm, sleep slowly overcoming him. Nathan looked down at the child, the glow in his eyes fading with exhaustion. He whispered softly. Rest now, Kale. When you wake, we'll continue the journey, and we'll get you home. The child murmured in his alien language, then closed his eyes. Nathan smiled faintly, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the hope that had grown stronger each day. Together they would face whatever dangers awaited them. Together they would reach the Queen. And in that quiet moment, Nathan realized something extraordinary. The bond between human and alien, born of courage and trust, could shape the destiny of worlds. The hidden refuge had given them time to heal, to grow, and to plan, but it was only the beginning. Soon the journey to the alien Queen would resume, and with it challenges that could test the limits of bravery, intelligence, and the human spirit. For Nathan and Kale, hope had become a mission, and mission had become a promise that no matter what lay ahead, they would face it together. The shuttle glided silently through the darkness of space, stars twinkling like distant lanterns against the black void. Nathan sat at the controls, eyes sharp and focused, while Kale, now stronger and more alert, watched the instruments with growing fascination. The journey back to the alien capital would not be easy. Every light in the distance could be a scout. Every signal could be a trap. Nathan knew that survival depended on vigilance and on Kale's growing abilities. Kale, you need to stay calm, Nathan said, glancing at the child. If something goes wrong, we follow the plan. Understood? Kale nodded, his small hand gripping the edge of the console. Plan, follow, he whispered, repeating the words slowly as if practicing them. Nathan smiled faintly. The child had learned quickly, absorbing more than Nathan had expected. His intelligence, his instincts, and his courage were remarkable. Nathan realized that Kale wasn't just a royal child. He was extraordinary in ways that could change the future. As they passed through a dense asteroid belt, the shuttle's sensors beeped urgently. Nathan's eyes darted to the screen. A fast-moving alien scout ship was approaching, scanning for life signatures. Stay low, Kale, Nathan said, his voice calm but firm. We're going to hide. He maneuvered the shuttle between two massive asteroids, using their shadows to mask the ship from the scout's sensors. The child watched wide-eyed as Nathan performed complex maneuvers, weaving through space with precision. You, fast, Kale whispered. Nathan chuckled softly. Not fast, careful, quick thinking. The scout ship passed overhead, missing them by mere meters. Nathan exhaled slowly, his focus never leaving the controls. Kale, though frightened, seemed impressed. You, clever, he said quietly. Thanks, Nathan replied. Sometimes cleverness is all you need to survive. Once the immediate danger had passed, Nathan set a new course. The alien capital was far, and traveling directly would be too risky. They would need to use hidden routes, avoid known patrol areas, and rely on stealth to reach their destination. Nathan's mind worked tirelessly, plotting the safest path while keeping Kale informed. Kale, we're not going straight there, Nathan explained. We'll take a longer route, safer and quieter. Understand? Kale nodded, absorbing every detail. Long? Safe, he repeated. Nathan felt a surge of pride. The child was learning fast, adapting quickly to human strategies and tactics. Nathan realized that humans and aliens could learn from each other, that even a small human gesture like saving a life could ripple across the galaxy. Night passed, and the shuttle moved steadily through hidden corridors of space. Nathan took shifts of rest, keeping one eye on the instruments at all times. Kale sat quietly, sometimes asking questions about the stars, the planets, and the humans who had once lived among them. Nathan answered patiently, explaining as best he could without overwhelming the child. As they neared a strategic checkpoint near the alien homeworld, alarms suddenly blared. Nathan's fingers danced over the controls. Multiple enemy patrol ships had detected their presence. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and trapped in an open corridor. Kale, hold on tight, Nathan said, his voice steady despite the tension. We're going to get through this. The shuttle weaved and dodged, plasma bolts streaking past. Nathan used every trick he knew, twists, spins, even using small debris from destroyed asteroids as shields. Kale held on tightly, but his eyes were bright with curiosity, not fear. He had learned to trust Nathan completely, almost. There, Nathan muttered under his breath. He activated the shuttle's hidden thrusters, pushing the ship into a narrow magnetic field that disrupted the enemy sensors. The patrol ships hesitated, scanning blindly. Nathan seized the moment and accelerated, slipping past the corridor unnoticed. Kale let out a small laugh of relief. You saved. Nathan smiled, the tension leaving his shoulders slightly. We saved each other, Kale. That's teamwork. After the ambush, they found temporary refuge near a small, uncharted moon. Nathan landed the shuttle carefully, scanning for any hidden sensors. Kale stepped out, his small feet touching the gray soil. He looked around, amazed at the barren, quiet landscape. Moon. Quiet, he said softly. Yes, Nathan agreed. It's quiet, but not forever. We'll rest, then continue. The Queen waits for you, Kale. For hours, Nathan and Kale rested in the shuttle. Nathan repaired minor damages, checked supplies, and ensured life support systems were fully operational. Kale sat nearby, watching every movement with fascination. The child's intelligence continued to grow, and Nathan found himself explaining even complex procedures in simple terms. Kale asked questions, tested his knowledge, and impressed Nathan with his understanding. You, clever, Nathan said again, smiling. Kale grinned faintly. Like you. Nathan laughed softly. Maybe, but you're learning fast. Faster than most humans I've known. The next morning, Nathan plotted the final leg of their journey. The alien capital lay just beyond a dangerous star cluster. Direct travel was too risky. They would be detected immediately. Nathan chose a hidden route, weaving through uncharted space lanes and small asteroid fields. Hold on tight, Kale, Nathan said.
This part is tricky. The shuttle dipped and twisted, dodging massive stellar bodies and radiation bursts.
Kale clung to Nathan, but his eyes shone with wonder. Stars, bright, he whispered. Yes, Nathan said. They are. And we're almost there. Your mother, the Queen, she will see you soon. As the capital's silhouette finally appeared against the stars, Nathan felt a mix of relief and anxiety. They had made it this far, but the hardest part remained. Convincing the Queen that a human had saved her child, and that her son was unharmed. The shuttle descended carefully toward the massive alien city. Towering structures glowed faintly with energy, their surfaces reflecting the light of distant stars. Nathan guided the shuttle into a secure landing zone, hidden from the main city's view. Kale's amber eyes widened as he saw his homeworld again. Home. Near, Kale whispered, a mixture of excitement and nervousness in his voice. Nathan patted his shoulder gently. Yes, Kale, almost home. You've been brave, very brave. They stepped out into the city's outskirts where guards and attendants paused at the unexpected presence of the shuttle. Nathan held Kale close, keeping him protected. For a moment, tension filled the air. The alien guards were wary, suspicious, and untrusting. Then came the moment of truth. From a distance, the towering figure of Queen Zira appeared. Her violet skin shimmered under the city's light, and her eyes, filled with both power and fear, focused on Kale. Kyle, she whispered, her voice trembling. Kale's small arms reached out instinctively. Mama! The Queen's eyes widened with disbelief, then filled with relief and joy. She rushed forward, gathering her child in her arms. Tears shone in her eyes as she held Kale tightly. Nathan stepped back, unsure of how the Queen would react to him. His heart pounded in his chest. Would she see him as an intruder, a threat, or as someone who had saved her child? Kale, sensing Nathan's hesitation, spoke softly. Saved. Him. The Queen turned her gaze toward Nathan, her eyes piercing yet curious. You saved my son? She asked, her voice a mixture of shock and wonder. Nathan nodded. Yes, Your Majesty. He was in danger. I couldn't leave him. I brought him back. For a long moment, silence hung in the air. The Queen studied Nathan carefully, then looked down at Kale, who clung to her tightly. Slowly, her expression softened. She knelt slightly, bringing herself closer to Nathan's level. You, humans, she said, her voice quiet. You risked your life for my child. For my son? Nathan nodded again. I did. Because saving a life matters, no matter who it belongs to. The Queen's eyes glimmered with something Nathan had never seen before. Respect, gratitude, and a hint of understanding. She looked at Kale again, then back at Nathan. You are brave, she said finally. And compassionate, perhaps. There is more to humans than I thought. Nathan allowed himself a small relieved smile. Kyle, seeing the Queen's acceptance, relaxed in her arms, a bright smile forming on his face. For the first time, Nathan realized that human courage and empathy had not only saved a life, but had also opened the door to understanding between two species. The journey had been perilous. The challenges had been immense. But now, Nathan and Kale had proven something extraordinary. That even in a galaxy filled with war and conflict, humanity's virtues could shine brightly and inspire change. The grand halls of the alien capital glowed with soft luminescence, reflecting off the smooth, polished surfaces of the walls. Towering pillars lined the corridors, engraved with ancient symbols that told the history of the alien empire. Yet for all the grandeur, the most important moment in the room was the small figure in the Queen's arms. Prince Kyle, alive and well, his amber eyes shining with curiosity and trust. Nathan Rourke stood a few steps back, uncertain how he would be received. The Queen, Lyra, still held her son tightly, her violet eyes flicking between Kale and Nathan. Silence filled the air, heavy with tension and expectation. Finally, the Queen spoke. "You, a human, saved my child. Why?" Nathan stepped forward, his voice steady and honest. "Because it was the right thing to do, Your Majesty. Kale's life mattered, no matter the war, no matter the differences between our peoples. Human, we protect life. We do what we can to help others. That is who we are." The Queen studied him, her expression unreadable. Nathan could feel the weight of her scrutiny. He did not flinch. He had saved Kale. He had brought him back safely. That was enough. Kale, sensing the tension, spoke softly. "He has saved me," he said. "Brave human." The Queen's gaze softened as she looked down at her son. Kale's small hands rested on her shoulders, and she saw the trust in his eyes. Slowly, her expression changed. Relief, gratitude, and awe filled her features. She turned back to Nathan. "You risked your life," she said quietly, "when others might have left him to die. That is remarkable." Nathan nodded. "I believe that life is always worth protecting. That belief doesn't change with species or borders." Kyle's life was worth every risk. For a long moment, the Queen remained silent. Then, as if reaching a decision, she straightened her posture and gestured toward Nathan. "Come forward," she said. "I wish to speak with you directly." Nathan stepped closer, keeping a respectful distance. The Queen's presence was commanding, yet there was warmth now, a new understanding between them. She studied him carefully. "You are different from what I expected," she said slowly. "Humans, we often see you as small, fragile, limited. But what you have done proves otherwise. You have courage, intelligence, and compassion, qualities even my most advanced soldiers sometimes lack." Nathan felt a spark of pride. "Thank you, Your Majesty. That means a lot." The Queen's gaze softened again as she looked at Kale. "And he survived because of you. You have given him a future he might not have had. That alone makes you unforgettable." Kale's small hand reached for Nathan's. Nathan knelt slightly, holding it gently. The child's trust was absolute, a testament to the bond they had formed through danger and care. "You understand, don't you, Kale?" Nathan asked quietly. "I brought you back so you could be with your mother." Kale nodded. "Yes, thanks," he whispered. The Queen studied Nathan for a long moment, then nodded. "You have my respect, human," she said finally, "and perhaps my trust. If the universe allows, you may yet teach us more about your kind." Nathan allowed himself a small smile. It was more than he had hoped for. In this moment, humanity's strength, courage, empathy, and ingenuity was acknowledged by one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Over the following days, Nathan stayed at the capital as an honored guest. The Queen requested his presence not as a soldier, but as a teacher and advisor. He shared knowledge of human strategy, innovation, and problem-solving. He explained how humans could adapt, think creatively, and act with compassion even in times of war. Kale, now fully recovered, remained at his mother's side. But he never forgot Nathan, following his guidance, asking questions, and learning from him. The bond between human and alien child was stronger than ever, built on trust, bravery, and shared experience. During a private moment, Nathan spoke with the Queen. "Your Majesty, the galaxy is vast and dangerous," he said, "but humans can be allies, not enemies. We can work together to protect life and prevent unnecessary destruction." The Queen considered his words carefully. "You have shown me something I did not expect," she said. "Humans are remarkable. Perhaps it is time to reconsider our view of your species, not as rivals but as partners." Nathan felt a quiet satisfaction. It was more than personal recognition. It was a shift in perspective, a bridge between two species that had been at war for too long. Human values had made an impact. Cale approached, his small hand slipping into Nathan's. "We friends?" he asked. Nathan smiled warmly. "Yes, Cale, friends always." The Queen watched the two together, a faint smile crossing her face. She realized that this small human had not only saved her son, but had also shown her a new way of thinking. Humans had qualities that even the mightiest alien empire could admire. Courage, compassion, and intelligence. They could inspire change across galaxies. Soon, word spread through the empire. The story of the human who had saved the alien prince became legend. Some doubted it at first, thinking it impossible that a human could have achieved such a feat. But the Queen confirmed it herself, praising Nathan's bravery and compassion. Human and alien leaders began discussions, tentative and cautious, about peace, cooperation, and shared knowledge. Nathan found himself in a unique position, someone who could bridge the gap between two civilizations, proving that humans could influence the galaxy not just with weapons, but with courage and morality. Cale thrived under the Queen's care, but he never lost the lessons Nathan had taught him. He practiced thinking quickly, acting bravely, and showing kindness. He learned that strength was not only in power, but in protecting those who could not protect themselves. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the alien capital, Nathan and Cale stood together on a balcony overlooking the city. The lights shimmered below and the stars stretched endlessly above. "Do you see that, Cale?" Nathan asked. "All of this, it's just the beginning. You have the power to change the future, and humans can help if we work together." Cale nodded, eyes wide with wonder. "Together, change," he whispered. Nathan smiled. "Yes, together." The Queen appeared beside them, placing a hand on Kyle's shoulder. "You have done more than save my child," she said, her voice soft. "You have opened my eyes. Humans are not just small creatures in the galaxy. You are brave, compassionate, and clever. You have earned a place here among us." Nathan bowed his head slightly, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. It was more than recognition. It was a victory for humanity itself. Humans had proven that their virtues could inspire even the most advanced alien civilization. Kyle laughed softly, leaning against Nathan. "We friends, always." "Always, Cale," Nathan replied. As the night deepened, the stars twinkling above, Nathan looked at the horizon and felt hope. The galaxy was still vast and full of challenges, but for the first time, he believed that humans could truly make a difference. Their courage, compassion, and intelligence could forge alliances, protect life, and create peace where there had only been war. The story of Nathan Rourke and Cale became a symbol of hope, bravery, and the extraordinary power of human values. It proved that even in a universe filled with danger, humans could shine brightly, influencing civilizations and inspiring change far beyond their own world. The alien queen, her son, and the human soldier stood together, a living testament to what was possible when courage, trust, and compassion guided actions. In the quiet of that night, Nathan whispered softly to Cale, "No matter what happens, remember this. Humans believe in hope, and as long as hope exists, we can change the universe, one life at a time." Kyle looked up, his amber eyes shining. "Yes, a hope," he said. The galaxy was vast. The future was uncertain. But humanity had shown its light, and that light would never fade. And so, with Cale safe, the Queen wiser, and Nathan recognized as a hero, a new chapter began. A chapter where humans were not just survivors or warriors, but beacons of courage and compassion, ready to inspire and unite worlds across the stars.